ChatGPT. And what's your point of view about ChatGPT, whether you use it and where you can find it useful? Because I have read that ChatGPT even can create codes or correct bugs in codes. Is it true? And yeah, yeah. And how reliable in these corrections? Okay, what's your conclusions, Denise? Mhm, 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 mhm. Okay. And as far as I know, that the massive of information given in ChatGPT is in English. So that is why if you have an inquiry in Ukrainian and Russian language, it's not so developed, yeah, in these languages. So that is why I joined the group on Facebook, where the users of ChatGPT show the results of the research of search and some mistakes that they describe, whether they are satisfied or not. Just for me, it's interesting to observe the information and to make some conclusions. And speaking about critical understanding of the information, should we apply our critical thinking while using this ChatGPT? Is it necessary to think critically when we read the answers of ChatGPT? Adalbert, how do you think?
I think that ChatGPT is more a toy than the actual thing that will be used during the researches. It just combines several other articles that it can find and tries to simulate a human readable text. In a lot of cases, it like gives a lot of water in the answers.
Okay. But for students, I mean, even pupils, or for school students and for university students, it's quite simplify their home assignments, right? Because they can easily find the answers to, for example, the main point of the text, or write an essay on any topic, or write a review on the material. It is told. I haven't checked just an essay. I checked. It is told that it's quite professional, and students can use it instead of thinking critically, instead of creative their own answers. They just cheating now, and the big problem is becoming and growing because lots of school administrations worried about the students' skills, their development. because of their use ChatGPT. So that is why there are some restrictions in some schools to use ChatGPT. And as far as I remember, our guest from the previous lesson told us that even Ministry of Education of Poland, I haven't found, unfortunately, this information, but Ministry of Education of Poland restrict the use of ChatGPT for diplomas. Are you going to try your, for example, part of your diploma to check whether ChatGPT can do it? Yeah, it can do it. And we have the example already when the student from Russia, yeah, it's also told us Ilya, and that the student of Russia, and I have found this information, used ChatGPT to write down diploma, the whole diploma. So the incident happened. That is why governmental institutions try to prevent such things. And how do you think, what can our Ministry of Education do to prevent such misunderstandings, cheating? What can they do? Mhm. 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 Okay, so change the way of home assignment, yeah? Mhm. 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 But you know, if you are asked about, for example, to explain something, so essay is a kind of preparation for oral speaking. To be keen on some topics, you have to develop these skills. So this kind of work is for developing your skills to present your thinking in the best way. Mhm. Okay, what kind of home assignments might be up to date, and the way that ChatGPT can't do it? Can you have any suggestions for these home assignments? What might it be? Mhm. So, but for this, for this purpose, ChatGPT can answer clear and recognizable, yeah, questions, simple questions. So, the better you formulate the question, the better result you've got. So, it depending on the person who is formulating the inquiry. Mhm. I see. Okay, and by the way, the newest information. So if you use the latest information, so ChatGPT can't answer these questions because its system, that database is up to 2021, right? So because I have read the post about the earthquake in Turkey, the question to ChatGPT, tell me about the earthquake in Turkey. And it answered that I haven't got any information. You can Google it or something like that. Okay, so the solution is the latest information, right? Analysis. What else might it be? Simple tasks and tasks for vice versa, yeah, for deep analysis. Okay, so then next one, we are going to read critically two extracts on the topic of consumer society. Just develop our skills of critical reading, whether you trust this information or not, or what is needed more to be trustworthy. Okay. So that's a short extract about consumer society. And my question is, do you know what consumer society is? What it means? Your suggestions, just consumer society.
Probably it's a society when one of the most important things for people are things like money, good food, good clothes, and something like this.
Okay, so it's a society where people always buy new things, right?
Yeah.
They need more and more and more. Not satisfied with what they have, but all the time they need more gadgets, things, anything, items, clothes, anything. Try to update everything they've got. So that's consumer society, right? And one more question before reading. What do you think? What kind of resources we should use critically, and what kind of resources we can just read and accept everything it gives? Any examples of resources for critical reading? Mhm. Mhm. Okay. What about news? Okay, just a second. I will change the sharing information. And if we have just okay, found. So look at the screen, please. It's the news from online journal or even, I don't know, text-based, yeah, online journal, okay. It's the news, can you read the headline? In New York, it was forbidden to use ChatGPT in schools due to the inability to distinguish the text written by the chatbot from the works written by real students. Do you think we should read it critically or just accept as it is, even according to the headline?
I think it's very important to, in such news, it's very important to read the sources and the actual documents on which it is based, because often journalists take some interesting headlines.
Overblow any information.
Yeah,
Yes.
especially when there are topics about something that is hyping, like ChatGPT, AI. I remember there was a lot of articles about Tesla when drunk driver was driving a Tesla and fall asleep, and Tesla arrived at another city, and most of them were untrue.
Okay. So we have to check with supplying documents, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's true or not. Anyway, we should read critically, right?
Yes.
This information, because everything that is new are banned, first of all, by the society, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that is why we have to check the information and to check supporting documents, whether it's true or not. Okay, thank you for your opinion. And now we come back to our text. About consumer society. Oh my God, sorry. Again. Do you know how to switch from one resource to another one? Not to turn off, yeah? Once again, how can I do it? Sorry. The whole screen, right? Oh, okay, I see. Okay, thank you. So you are going to read critically extract number 1A about consumer society. And so after you will read, we will answer 6 questions. Okay, this small text, the social value of brands. Would you like us to read aloud, or you can read, or you wanna read it on your own?
I think it's better if we will read it on our own.
Okay.
I read it.
Okay. What about Denise? Okay, let's discuss the first question. Does the title of the publication tell you anything about the writer's position?
No, it doesn't.
And your opinion, Denise? The same? Okay, number 2. What general position does the writer take in the extract? General position. So not good, yeah? Okay. And does he find the chain of this process? Does he find the chain of this process? Okay. Next question. What claims are made that lead the writer to this position?
He claims that without brands, it's not possible to achieve social progress.
Okay, and strong economic growth, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Does the writer provide any supporting evidence for claims?
Well, the writer gave this chain, but they didn't explain like the steps and why the thing, for example, why without brands it's not possible to get customer loyalty, why it's not possible to get earnings without customer loyalty, and so on.
Okay, so that's the conclusion, no supporting evidence, right? Just the diagram and just the facts. Facts like evidence is without supporting any information, right?
Yeah.
Proving this, for example, diagram. Okay, and next one, what alternative positions are these or are there, and does the writer acknowledge these alternative position? Does he propose any alternative position? No.
Yeah.
Just his own opinion with his own diagram and point of view, yeah?
Yeah.
Next one, are you persuaded that the writer's position is correct? Okay. And Adalbert, are you persuaded that the writer's position is correct?
I think that the writer chose a very hard question and tries to explain it in several sentences. It's definitely should be investigated much more.
Okay, even provide any surveys, yes, based on his investigation.
Yeah.
Or experiments, or I don't know, any supplying materials, because without anything, so you just can express your point of view, that's it, right? Without any evidences. And that is why we can't trust this information. We have to check it from more reliable resources. Okay, thank you. And one more abstract, again about the same issue, consumer culture. So read again, please, and after that we will answer the same questions, but about extract B. Okay, compare these two extracts. Okay.
The same.
Okay, so the same questions, but about extract B. Does the title of the publication tell you anything about the writer's position?
No.
What general position does the writer take in the extract? Okay, but not responsible, yeah. What claims are made that lead the writer to this position? True. In comparison with the first one, there are some evidences, right? Okay. Number 3, right? Number 4, does the writer provide any supporting evidence for claims? If it, we have only extract, right? So read the whole material. Do you think there might be provided such evidences? Number 5, what alternative positions are there and does the writer acknowledge these? Any alternative positions? Yeah, it's like a bit of solution, right? But not example of another position. So other positions are not compared here, just his own, right? Are you persuaded that the writer's position is correct according to the extract B? Mhm. Mhm. Okay. But maybe just to buy reasonably, yeah, without not to buy without necessity, just minimize your demands and wishes. Have you heard about, by the way, have you heard about downshifting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it's a kind of solution for consumer society?
It's a very weird solution. I think
Yeah, but anyway, some people choose this way.
I heard about downshifting slang in IT when people choose to work in bad positions in like in some bad companies just because they're like easier job and they can have more free time for themselves.
And in this way, they are satisfied with lower salaries, right?
Yeah.
It's a kind of downshifting as well, right?
Yeah, I think this kind of downshifting has sense. You will have less salary, you will buy less things, but you will have more time for yourself.
Do you think it's reasonable?
Yeah.
Why not? Life-work balance, yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think millionaires follow this life-work balance?
Definitely not.
Definitely not, yeah. They put off their time, yeah. Okay, and would you like to try, for example, downshifting for a year, for example?
It depends on what type of downshifting. Like, I'm not ready to search for food in the garbage.
Yeah, no, downshifting, it's not about this radical radical position. Just lower consuming, like thoughtful consuming, being satisfied with what you have for now, yeah, and balance. It's about balance more, just balance your free time and your work. It's more, as for me, it's more about this.
Personally, I don't like this idea of balance I am the person who tries to find the thing which I love and give all myself to this thing. And I don't like the division between work and life, because I want to be able to live in my work and work in my life. I want it to be one thing. And when you divide it, you're like telling, I will spend 8 hours of my time starving, and then I will enjoy like 2 hours in the evening. It will be balanced. It will be happy life. But I disagree with this.
Okay. Denise, what's your point of view? Earn, to earn. Okay, so I reach my age when I'm ready to try downshifting, because I think I was so active maybe for 10 years. Also wanted to develop myself in career, wanted to earn more money, wanted to take more jobs, to try something new. So that is why I consider it's time for me to stop, to think, and to find this balancing position. So that is why I'm ready to try downshifting, but about consuming less, I don't know whether I'm ready, because I don't spend now much money on everything. So that is why I don't know whether it's reasonable to spend less than I spend now. Okay, critical reading skills, what it gives us, making like conclusion after we have read critically, we discussed, is it about deeper analysis while we read critically? Yeah. Okay, so we haven't done it, but if we are not agree with the position, that just in this case we can do it, yes, in further steps. Anyway, our position about what we are reading, it's a kind of critical reading. Yeah, our position, whether we or disagree about our wish to check, about our wish to express ourselves, about even about our trustfulness or not, about points of view of the author. It's also critical, part of critical reading. So we are ready to investigate, to search more, to check. So that is why it's not about just consuming the information. Yeah, it's not about just taking it as a grant. Take for granted, yeah, take for granted, ну, сприймати як належне, так? We are ready to analyze. So critical reading, it's about analyzing. When we are performing any research, why do we need critical reading?
To don't copy paste wrong information or mistakes of other people's.
Yes, right, right. To distinguish between reliable and non-reliable information, and interpret only reliable resources, right? To evaluate the material, to understand whether it's necessary for us, whether we can believe it and can use it even for our research, because we are doing also research which can be read by other people, and maybe they haven't got any critical reading skills, so they just believe us. We have to be responsible for what we provide to society. Okay, so the next one, we will talk about note-taking. So while you are reading educational information, or maybe information for your work, which is necessary, do you take notes of this information? If you are reading something useful, do you take notes?
Typically, I am writing in notes links that I should check one more time. Like
in
when
your phone, right? In your phone.
In the chat in Slack.
In chat and Slack. Okay. So you write some, you just copy paste the link which you have to check, or just make some notes, take some notes?
Both things.
Both.
Sometimes I copy paste the link, sometimes I just type something like look this topic.
Okay. And Denise, do you take? Okay, you analyze it once, but for your research, Denise, so firstly you have to find, if you have a literature review, right, in the first part of your research. So you have to analyze massive of information. And sometimes, firstly, you have to read and for just like skimming, yeah? Do you remember this technique, skimming? So you don't need, in this case, you don't need any notes, right? And if you think, if you read just a book for yourself, which is interesting, do you underline some moments? That's all. No need to reread something else one more time, yeah? So that is why you just read. Do you memorize quickly? Okay, I see. So anyway, many people, when they read the information for the first time or need a deeper analysis of this information, they take some notes. And I will share with you the screen again. So we've got different types of note taking. The first one is tabular note organized in table. Usually for some research, we need some summarizing, yeah, and lots of information should be shortened and presented in a table, for example, as a way, as one of the way of presenting. One more diagrammatic notes, like diagram, yeah. And we've got here our in this book the example of this diagram. It's quite unusual for me. For example, I take notes when I read something, when I look for the information, search the information. When I write the article, for example, I take some notes from the different resources and the links to come back to them. So that is why I use it quite often. And my way of note taking, it's like linear notes, like notes written in ordinary text, underline, or some keywords or some links. And in dash, I write down what is it for. Which one is the most useful type for different reasons? For example, for analyzing the material for your research, which type might be useful? Just your opinion. Mhm. 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 Okay. This diagram will show us what? The bullet points of the material, right? And the connection between them. Okay. Adalbert, what's your point of view? Which note taking is the most suitable for you while analyzing the material? Linear, yes, as far as I.
Yeah, linear.
Okay. Anyway, let's try to read an extract, one more. On the next page, I will scroll down or up, and let's try to do this kind of note taking like diagram. Maybe you would like it and find it reasonable. So you can rewrite this one, and after you are reading, you have to add some more important information on your from your point of view, from the text and from the abstract you will read. Okay, to add, to extend this diagram. Do you have a sheet of paper and a pen or a pencil nearby? Adalbert, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, about media literacy, read the abstract and add to your diagram the most important bullet points or questions or whatever you consider is necessary. And I will scroll up after you read this part, okay? Let me know just to scroll. Yeah, this one. That, mhm. Okay, Adalbert.
Yeah, I also finished.
Mhm. Okay, so have you added some information to the diagram? The main idea of the text, as far as I understand, is to develop in students critical skepticism to all types of advertising they receive from different resources. But taking into account your age and school age, you know, when people are more impressive and they sometimes press on their parents to buy them unnecessary things. So that is why some researchers consider that we have to develop critical skepticism at school age. Firstly, for students to understand the necessity of the products, and secondly, to understand the process of advertising in the whole, to be like responsible and wise consumers even when they grow up. As far as I understand their message. Maybe I'm mistaken, but as for me, this was the message of this extract. Mhm. 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 Sometimes it is proposed to students some harmful products, like sweets, too much sweets, something. Not of course, not magazines, not books, but some harmful products. Maybe that's why they should be more skeptic about consuming everything what is proposed. Maybe that's the reason. I don't. Mhm. Okay. Okay. So your solution in other way, not media literacy. Mhm. Mhm. Adalbert, what do you think? Have you caught the main idea?
I agree with you. I think that the main idea is to try to teach young uh, children to don't believe to the everything and to have a critical thinking skills.
Mhm.
But in my opinion, nowadays children and young people they have good critical skills because they saw the good advertisement from their life. But when I communicate with older people, like older 50 years, they don't have critical skills at all, and they believe almost everything they are taught because when they were young. They
Yes.
didn't have television, they didn't have uh,
They
internet.
they did have televisions, but with limited programs.
Yeah, and at that time, if something was taught in television, it was considered as absolute truth
Mhm.
because only government had access to decide what will be shown there. But now there are absolutely no control over what is shown on the television and is it truth. Even in the news you can see a lot of propaganda and advertisement and weird things.
Mhm. And we should recognize it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I do agree with you about elder people, because, for example, my mom, she saw lots of advertising on the internet, especially on Facebook. She's an active user of Facebook. Can you imagine how many unnecessary things she has already bought from the advertisement on the Facebook? Because she consumes everything and she believes that this thing will help her to treat her knee, for example, or her back, or anything she's looking for. So that is why, if she had critical thinking skills from her childhood and understood that we shouldn't believe all the information which is given, she could avoid some unnecessary purchases. I think so. the same way, because we didn't have, even my age people, so we didn't have any information about advertising, about their persuading techniques, about whether trustworthy information or not. So we couldn't analyze it in early years. So that is why it's more difficult for us than for you, yeah, to analyze, to criticize, to understand. So, and sometimes we are in a trap. Even me, I sometimes bought some unquality, unnecessary things. Not so often, but sometimes I'm also in a trap. So because I need more and deeper understanding of the advertising. Yeah, now I can do it, I can read it, I can. But if I had such skills from earlier period, I could avoid some mistakes. I could do it. But critical thinking, critical analysis was not as the skills which were developed in Soviet schools. So that is why we are so trustworthy. We are so naive, yeah, naive sometimes. And maybe, yeah, for today's students, it's not as important as because you've got some critical skills, you work with lots of information, you can analyze it, you can recognize it. But I think it should be developed since early childhood, even since primary school. It's just my opinion. And any questions you can add to this diagram now? As for me, I added the questions just for, not because I don't understand, just because to see the picture, the whole picture, yeah, of this content, like what are ad messages purposes. The next question I mentioned in my diagram, what are product content arguments, and what is advertising skepticism? Also, tactics and techniques to persuade. Do you know tactics and techniques to persuade other people? Any examples? Okay, okay. Any more techniques and but tactics, but it's for consumer, right? For okay.
Probably if I would like to sell something, nowadays it's very important to have a good page in social media, probably in Instagram or have a website, and it's very cool when such websites has real comments from real people, and not only positive but also something negative, and you can see that it is real.
Okay. So do you often read comments when you want to buy something?
It depends on the price. Like if the thing costs less than 1,000 hryvnias, I won't bother. I will just buy. But if something bigger, then I will definitely read the comments.
Okay, so me too. I often read comments, and it helps to understand the quality. And by the way, some comments prevent me from buying something. And if it is about gadgets, I prefer to find on the internet and then to go to the shop and to see this product, to try it, or to hear the experts' evaluation, like to explain me some functions, to show me some functions, to give more, to provide more information, which I can then I can read on the internet. But I can buy it on the internet because of the lower price in comparison with their shop.
Yeah, I'm doing the same. Typically, I'm going to the shop, asking people, looking how it looks in real life, and then search in the internet for lower prices.
Okay, so the same technique, yeah?
Yeah.
Purchasing. And Denise, what about your secret of buying? Mhm, mhm, mhm. Okay. Okay, so anyway, everyone has their own techniques, yeah, and own points of view, and some tips. Maybe if we share, so we will be more responsible and maybe wiser consumers, and will change our consumer habits. The last task for today, I will show you a short video about summary. So I would like to mention about summary. What is summary, guys? Do you remember from your English classes or literature classes? What? No, not exactly. Summary. It's a short information of what you read or seen, not only conclusion, but just to present the information in a short form with conclusion, of course. But should this conclusion include your own opinion about some facts or information you received? Should it include your own opinion? But in review, yeah, if we write a review, we should provide our own opinion. But in a summary, we just do it we make conclusions, but objectively, without mostly based on author's opinion rather than ours. So why is it useful for you as master's students? I mean, summarizing the information. How does it help you for to develop what skills? Okay. Also, summary. It's a short information about something. And when you write your literature review, what was done before your research, you have to write down in short all the previous investigations. And this should be written in the form of a summary. So firstly, in your own words, not to avoid plagiarism, right? Secondly, in a short way, because you've got a limitation of pages for your research, and with some conclusions from the author. So that is why writing literature review in your first part of your master's research, it's a kind of summary, the information provided to your topic, provided before by other authors. So some tips how to write a good summary I will show you in our in a short video, and I will ask you to find out the information which is necessary for your future research and to write summary of this article or book, whatever you need for your research, okay, to write summary of this information. But it will be home assignment. And now about writing summary tips.
In our daily lives, you may summarize something interesting that you read in the news, or you may summarize a movie plot line for a friend, or a lesson for a classmate who has been sick and missed the class. And at some point in your academic career, you will have to write a summary, which is something that a lot of students find difficult. So I thought I would give you some tips on how to write an effective, successful summary. All right, now it's important to remember that a summary needs to be clear to someone who has not read, seen, or heard the original material. Now you have to include all of the essential information that a person would need to understand without reading the original source. So you have to include all of the main points. Now that's pretty much what a summary is. It's important also to remember that you shouldn't go beyond the main points. It's important that a summary be as brief as possible. So you don't want to get too specific with details like numbers, statistics, dates, figures, that kind of thing, unless it's absolutely necessary for the reader to understand it. Remember that a summary needs to be concise, brief. You don't want to be too descriptive. All right, so a good summary should follow and maintain good paragraph structure. So you want a topic sentence, and supporting sentences, and a concluding sentence. Now it's important for the topic sentence of a summary to identify itself as a summary. So you should include the title or the author or the speaker of the original material in your topic sentence. And then the supporting sentences are the main points. And it's important to try to follow the same order that the information is presented in the original material. Again, if possible. There are times, perhaps, if you're summarizing a story where the original story is not in chronological order, and it may make it easier for the reader to understand it if you change the order. But in general, you want to keep the same order. Now, also, in a summary, you should be paraphrasing. You should not be using direct quotes from the original material, and you should not be copying and pasting sentences right from the original. You should be using your own words. And last, it's important for a good summary to be objective, meaning you should not include your opinion in a summary. Remember that you're just reporting information from someone else's piece of writing or a lecture. So if you follow these tips, you'll be that much more likely to write a successful summary. So if you want practice with summaries, follow the link at the end of this video.
Okay. So some tips about writing the summary, and I would like you to find necessary information and to write the summary of this material, taking into account the tips. And I think it would be more convenient for you to write the summary of of any article which is necessary for your research. But it's up to you. It's up to you. So thank you so much. I'm sorry for finishing earlier because I have to go to the yellow building to sign up some documents, I don't know what, and have to be on time there. Thanks for participating. Have a nice week and take care. Stay strong and be careful. See you next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.